So who's a team be? Ako player one time no person we bibia. Na so hwehwea bibi. Or sense say one ye careful one soupy in temwa. And shall no be a baby rim. Arsenal fear Madrid might gazump the attempt to sign this young chap.
Yeah.
We were a Basque. But so pe Ateta also a Basque. But when the Ateta ninkita hudieno, e munye duty say when Jabi Alonso, so yene ye bako. Alonso need to wear say as a person and then as a player because of finding some Abra no ejma or else side that or mubi team no. So he knows this chap very well. Now again, the lure of playing top level football. If you compare between Arsenal and Madrid, who has what to offer in terms of the big guns and the big airway? Real Madrid definitely. Arsenal they are coining money kabiamo on Netflix FC. Next every season biano you winning that's all. Until January are still of him or April, May, na bibia je good entry next season you be any. So any young Spanish kid who wants to win has seen the two clubs and definitely say bako ba na bako di kind cry medwene hu mienu. And that is why Arsenal wants to quickly get this done with. The more it delays, the better the chances of other teams to step in, including Real Madrid. And just as I've explained earlier, Madrid were a coin be say almost stop people away from moving to Arsenal. The only thing that will not allow that ASL trigger the release clause.
That is 60 no.
Exactly.
And also my ready so better.
Good.
But in installments.
So now Madrid for an economic comma better offer. What do? And release clauses they any favorite will move. Only if the boy prefers a move to your club. If you trigger it, you are done. So I think Arsenal in a very dicey situation, and especially they will need to stock their medal. Jorginho will leave to Brazil. Partey issue no so because so ontina. When in your Partey replacement, when you an addition to Arsenal's midfield, and what check here Arsenal teta be fine. Positions are another department and near company and fin. So Omulusu Jorginho, he will want someone to come on board. I believe to some extent Partey might extend his stay at Arsenal team. But way back account, then it will help to give them a deep squad in terms of quality and everything. But Madrid, no, and a problem. And that's why Arsenal wants to act fast and make sure they get this deal done with. If it's another Arsenal for non-copper striker being who are available now, be no bedding come. So Arsenal for phone Fred Newcastle. Can you perceive din come? Why Alexander Ishak? Newcastle for the back at corner sans with your matter accounts and go for money serious. At this stage of the season, every club Arsenal beko akope almost strike a and they are not in a position to negotiate.
Why?
In Portugal, Sporting CP are fighting for the title with Benfica. Okay. In England, Newcastle are fighting for a spot for Europe Champions League. Obianya ready. The only available option for Arsenal, Bayway Society, the almost season it has already unraveled. Emmanuel Aguasel, almost coach, or almost season are jeans and Muewie. So they are looking at planning for the next season. In Tukonwa, they will allow and then they will have a conversation with you. And as it stands, strikers now were only limited, and Arsenal don't have options in terms of the any needing come on. And that is what has dragged this whole issue. Say way back, and you will hear more from the midfielder point of view. No one sending you Besiako. I loved to have this conversation with you some 2-3 days ago after the Coppa Italia final. AC Milan season has been a failure, but the failure does not rest with the playing body. Yes, say nam sebe say ya say free niti and start pro. Start free.
And I'm not starting free. Now okay. And I'm maybe mic come out. Mic say yes number pro. Start free. And I was na yase.
I say now le.
Na yase into fish na yase.
Ah, what is start pro? Damn. Oh, Debbie. Yes. You see, Akomeah. You need to see your money dinner. I don't know. You see, and now ever pray profanity. when Milan won the Scudetto with Stefano Pioli, the people responsible for the planning of that squad, not Ivan Gazidis, Edimuntintimapa. Now, if you check, Giorgio Felani, and a year almost CEO, then Geoffrey Moncada, and then the rest, in charge of transfer recruitment, and then the special advisor to the sporting project of AC Milan, why? Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Yeah. Clearly, if you look through, so experience no munyaye to build a solid team to win the Scudetto. No, they have missed out on that experience. And most of Milan's transfer business were fueled by emotion and passion rather than tactically being astute in terms of player crying here. So I'm not a team Nimokina. Let's start with the appointment of a coach. Milan Kofa a year way Paulo Fonseca. Now Fonseca's appointment, Milan Paneho, Omopa way Antonio Conte, the Omopa Massimo Allegri. These are experienced heads in Italy. Omopa Kofa Fonseca, who in the context of Italian football, the best thing he had done was with Roma qualifying for the Champions League. Okofa coach says, "Oh, the neighbor build the project AGBBA. From the start, you get it wrong." Then after Fonseca, they brought on board Sergio Conceição. On some best steady shape, no. But again, that time no nobody can bruise you na mention any say into wood the mukra send your Messi at here. The recruitments, the addition to their team. Learn for players, pa. But who besides say players no do no fire no. How many of them have actually had an impact on this Milan team? You were speaking to Beppe Marotta and how constructed Timo Juve and what he's doing currently at Inter Milan. Inter Milan, Beppe Marotta's experience, were building 2 sets of attack with little amount of money. The first set, Omoje the league under Conte. Neye Lautaro Martinez, Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku first, Omunyani loan. Lautaro was promoted, Omkofane kete. No be understudy Moro Icardi. By the time Icardi left, Lautaro had matured enough. Until Lautaro ni Lukaku no. Almost spend 50 million euros. The same. The next set of attackers, Omo Lautaro and Marcos Thuram. Marcos Thuram transfer fee is saying exactly the point. Italy's had it here. So if you don't have an experienced sports director or technical director, or what you will spend money, but you will not get your money's worth. So Juventus, any of the successful teams they built, even including Carlos Tevez, Bunueno, check the amount of money they spent. Again, go to Napoli when they were building a solid squad on Modebe J, the Scudetto. Christian Guintoli, Yema Spalletti, no. Osimhen Omofane saying, Kvaratskhelia Omofane saying. So Italy is about shrewd movement and experience of a transfer market. Who did that in Doye Hong Kong? Meboa. Joshua Zexi, Bologna Fona Antonio, Marco Di Vaio. Again, they will shrewdly go into the market and identify a talent to solve a particular issue. Milan thought what they needed to do was to throw money. But if you throw money at problems, it doesn't solve it without wisdom and a plan. Manchester, they have thrown money. United for Romat to Sikegu or more problems. So it is not just about throwing money. At times, you're throwing money with wisdom and with a plan. And Milan will need that, especially for the experience aspect, to solve their issues.
Whoa, Mike, may I say?
Now, let me say, I am Shishena Gusu Koso. Asana for Yem Shishomo, said the Michael Bay, the Zubimendi story. Another Yem Shishia Boba and Ano pay Liverpool Ibrahima Konate. Konate contract be 2026 as a stance. Onye and Adrian so be renew with Liverpool. We are not saying his own renew with Liverpool. He might renew. But Liverpool yemu shishio mo say I didn't see here with Alexander Trent Arnold no. And sure maybe ababisi around Ibrahima Konate.
Yeah.
The reason why I will not be surprised, says Saudi and BTMSC, the fact say the French contingent now Real Madrid no have a different notion and a different thing altogether, trying to price away assets be on to me some Real Madrid team they beat me abo. Real Madrid use Mancasa players to do transfer deals. So Bellingham, the Trent, and all them commercials say buy any. Because I say Liverpool supporters go picture back could be a Trent in the Bellingham. So, oh, agent Trent. Now, Omunim say opposite agent Bellingham boom and an offer player and the number. Now with the likes of Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Kylian Mbappe, the leader of the new generation when it comes to the French national team, Kylian Mbappe, the captain of the national team, Kylian Mbappe. Now there's Tchouaméni, there's Camavinga. All of these guys in Real Madrid here players to boost up their chances to dominate the world again. I wouldn't be surprised, say, almost as a crew to tune Sembu Ibrahim Akunato as well.
I'm used to the French contingent.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Said your way Alexander Trent and no Steve Obai no kuku tua so na no the 2 years ago crown of said any din come am say be manya abotre. O shareholder. Onya shareholder. Itinya abotre. But I think everything is trying to push Liverpool to know say they are treading on dangerous grounds. So Kunate and renew by the close of the year now. Me sure say January transfer window. Ombeton Kunate. And I'm saving the summer transfer window, they will try and force because 2026 there. That means
to add
this
up
summer.
To add up to the Okano. Okay, so now Liverpool for J the Premier League title and the video be by na on quite Anfield.
On quite Anfield. Yes. What is that?
Let's
try to be here.
It is I say by video be on quite or yard
to one.
I say feel of.
Yes.
Certain Anfield City sitting in the stands.
Yes.
So say the Liverpool for any quick there.
Omanya the quicker 2026 will be pushed. Say Shadrack bet me abom na Barca Hansi flick video na from Qatar 2022 na komo me hwa de bi kakra. Say ready a. Enya ready e bekoso adi enkomo. Fancy say o share Hansi flick dwumadi na wa bedi wo FC Barcelona na. Let me be very honest with myself. I don't know about anybody. But me one person I really doubted Hansi Flick when he was coming to Barcelona.
Because of certain
na career and city kono. There were other people maybe obi one more bit my kind nobody jina be catch said one doubting Hansi Flick that. That is your choice. But me I'm a TA. I was even point blank with that them say Hansi Flick dwumedi na obabedino. Me share dem hunu. The obabeye with this Barcelona setup. But the beauty of the game is always when someone proves you wrong.
Yeah.
With the kind of normal but team be obetim ababe day. Ababe. Wow, share Germany will World Cup 2022 biano. You would understand say team no na edwidwa. 2018 was hell for the German national team, but the skills of modema any say any team be obeji World Cup ni bibia na to be call the next World Cup. Fancy. Ana resource nation down kuyi infama no. But Otenasidi na Oyo 2022, what happened to the German national team again? Especially in a group on Japan, Costa Rica, then you begin to understand, say, are the Hansi Flick, no none your mate, Tiba for man, I said, Diana, AC Bobodeba. But I always say this thing, say, football will always give somebody an opportunity to open himself up and do the unthinkable. Especially when Obia Nijidi say, there are so many coaches go through the same tangent, they don't become the same again. True. A lot of coaches go through the same kind of situation that Hansi Flick go through, no, they don't become the same again. But one example, Carlo Ancelotti, baby Okofa Real Madrid called Paris Saint-Germain. Oko Chinchini ya befa Everton. Edrumrebi na Carlo Ancelotti, the head coach of Everton.
Yeah. And even Everton, I also go back to Madrid. I was like, Ancelotti buy Everton and fa.
Everton and fa. But I go back to Real Madrid. Osa ko here deba adibim. Wakwaji the Champions League ni ato asos. Hansi Flick wa che de bia ne sika no nchemu 3. Onfa ba akoma Laporta, onfa ba akoma Deku. Because adwuma no time na osa so pe no. Nenya Barcelona na force Hansi Flick say be ye adwuma ne mayo.
Ono mum na push.
Na Hansi Flick na push for adwuma no.
Yeah.
Because he really needed that job to prove himself. And then Laporta and the command the platform. And he has only become the second German manager to win the La Liga. And the first in the history of FC Barcelona. Fancy, there's a reason why I don't take this league winning by Hansi Flick as a mere thing. The reasons why I'm to me is I didn't know why you know a demusrunku and your mammy. One, the history of German coaches ever Barcelona.
Yes.
So no be the first one to win the La Liga. They are tosumienu. Now, wama Barcelona abe accept change. Because Barcelona was always turning in one direction. Say, we are a legend. La Masia, Total Football, Johan Cruyff. Young call with that particular style now. Young Conesa. But when the different Johan Cruyff mentality na beshe Barcelona. Omeka, the famous quote by Johan Cruyff, say on per match I'll be winning 1-0. Open match ebe boy we no wa show 4-2.
Mo bro.
Na bo na 4-3. Na bo na 5-4. Now we be maintain saa de na saa pegem. Barcelona are not your excessive possessive team, just like said in year one under Guardiola. Possession, precision, passing. Barcelona are much more concerned about finishing off games, quick transitions, and unleashing individual talent in 1v1 situations. For example, Hediana Newton here with Yamal. You are not restricted in the system.
Yeah.
You are free to do. Where I feel your Faber confidence, Ben. Pedri Faber no betima than in 2 or 3. And this is what they needed at this moment. And this is what Hansi Flick needed at this moment. Krodos wa entena fa akonya nim guase. Ebi na Hansi Flick aye no. He won't sit at Germany. Ni enhoro no fa nkosi media so. And din attempt every single day. But now he moved to Spain. He wins the league. He wins the Supercopa de España. And wasaji the Copa del Rey. Next Kenya Inter Milan. Ka Barcelona eji the treble. Na he kwan ya Barcelona fa so. E free mu against Inter Milan. Marvelous job. Super job. And then Barcelona class anya players say ka Ballon d'Or. Omudin say aye dey. Epim. But I mean, come J treble J sextuple. No players been able to say Ballon d'Or no more. But there was Lewandowski there. But aside Lewandowski, no one be never Bobodino.
Jumano so now say coaches need Granny Barca Jumano.
Coaches were running away from it. Because one, there was no money. Barcelona no more chere. They needed money. Xavi Hernandez fetched the can say mebre. Laporta said there be. Was about the time now Barcelona say a new camp project. Now there are a lot of things Spotify new camp. Now they can relish the opportunity to even go back to Spotify new camp. Abroad we are on top of Spanish football and the La Liga. They'll be so much happy with this. Sadwa Kenya video now because bo video ni mamia. Ka obetiase many went to the World Cup. Manuel Neuer, Mario Götze, Ike Gundogan, Jamal Musiala. She players on what they call World Cup no. And petty mistakes. After Okopacho, he was a laughing stock. So person who knew the situation will come wa. Obe power players in the show. Ni esre no Germany was a career na kuragu. Ene. The kind of respect he has earned, not only in Spain, but back in Germany, no, he deserves everything he's getting now. And come on, yedi about Ballon d'Or. Yamal projection. And you know be also in terms of Ballon d'Or. No? Fancy. Me kai say Ronaldo Deli me beji Ballon d'Or. Na the age ne of him. And basically he's the youngest player to have won the Ballon d'Or. 21 years as at that time. And not the Ballon d'Or. Messi ma beji be 22, Ronaldo mo unso ba beto aso. But at the end of Ronaldo Deli ma demo sronko as at that time at 21 years the Ballon d'Or the man no. Na any talent ekutano. Anyhow City play massive role in Brazil national team as at that time dominating the world. Let's not forget, say, in 1994, before they came to 98 World Cup, now Brazil were champions. So in the champions, Ronaldo de Lima was part of the 94 squad, but won a lot of games. As compared to 1998 and 2002. What am I say? But baby, I should be a partner or the budget Ballon d'Or back in 97 on the day ban. PSV and Hovin mo. O free one best ne could more Barcelona and the results he got with Barcelona. So anything about Barcelona and these young prodigies winning the Ballon d'Or at such age, any news. because Ronaldo de Lima ma be dey abefa wo adina Yamal aya ni this season no any the results now wenya anyhow influential he has been in this Barcelona setup fancy there is no doubt say Lamine Yamal no Ballon d'Or na e wo see timiji won achi ne ni kwasi edi won achi ne e batemi pa there is no doubt say whatever akoda na ye no because you put it into context ye bo Euros no month be ansa na e be rua season me see we last season we and e bo Euros summer no bo we and e de be rua season nim no ye Euros champion enum na na gina na de ma Rodri Ballon d'Or it ye hono count na twam but only be rua mu this season na o check the Supercopa de España no check the La Liga no check the Copa del Rey no check the Champions League no a semi-finalist which is not an easy feat anyhow influential in terms of talent within the setup any born or boy you know. But the man adwuma no ye din sisi a no won the Ballon d'Or energy you know nyoma mienu one the politicizing of this particular award especially when you have a French club in it in the shape of Paris Saint-Germain more player almost sunya ono so beji Ballon d'Or in Ousmane Dembele. Let's not forget say you see season we mo no Ousmane Dembele aje already or 3 trophies say France combo domestic trophies 2 so far waji 2 about third one no next week then almost our Champions League final here day. Let's not forget that FIFA hosting a club World Cup competition. No matter what you do that particular tournament will play a massive role. Or Ballon d'Or discussions in him. FIFA won't create a tournament, pay over $150 million to the winner without say Ember Ballon d'Or discussions. There'll be AC.
Then I call FIFA best.
It will go to FIFA best and still come to Ballon d'Or.
Okay.
It will be to me FIFA World Cup. Ni abemo be Ballon d'Or and say what the World Cup. So it will play a massive role. The only contender for Lamine Yamal assistance Ousmane Dembele. Kylian Mbappe an outsider. Or an outsider because Omaji the Intercontinental Cup aji the UEFA Super Cup. Omaji La Liga Omaji. But there is the Nations League. Sa game no Kylian Mbappe ni Dembele ni na no kwa kushia Yamal against Spain in the semi-finals of the Nations League. Then there is the FIFA Club World Cup. Those two instances, no, and the man Mbappe are outsider. But the only competitor assistance, the only competitor assistance for Yamal, Ousmane Dembele, because all the opportunity to win the quadruple at the end of the season, or the opportunity to play and obey imagine the Nations League, or the opportunity see a very FIFA Club World Cup, no, na Paris Saint-Germain, Asakwakoji. Individually, he's also scoring goals. Maybe I check the coefficients yet it's Spain, which is true, factual. But when it comes to trophies, and in your mind done anymore, that is the only competitor to Yamal. But Yamal say project is akulade babejia, more be any watching here. The talent and the potential ne born na akulana born this season. Fancy. Akulane born na wa born. When you born ketwa.